We've invested in skills heavily across the West Midlands region. The West Midlands Combined Authority hold the adult education budget for the whole region. We use that with our colleges, our training providers, to provide skills for adults aged 19 plus. So we've invested, it's £130 million a year that we invest, and we work really closely with our providers and our employers, so to make sure that we're delivering what's needed in industry, in the various sectors, and for the whole adult population of the West Midlands. We've put in place a wide skills offer across the region. The West Midlands region consists of 7 local authority areas, so we work with all of our colleges and our providers to provide training, education from really low entry points right up to higher level. So we've put that in place, and like I talked about the engineering manufacturing training plan, we've also got a health and social care sector training plan, so we're developing those and it's evolving as we're moving along. We're very ambitious about ensuring that our West Midlands residents can progress, they can learn, they can progress. It's very important to meet the demands of the sectors out there, to meet the vacancies, the skills demands in terms of engineering, for example. A lot of it is turning to digital and technical skills, so we're really keen to make sure that we play a part in that across the region. It's really important for employers, so investing in skills meets their recruitment and their retention needs, particularly around certain sectors where they're having some real challenges at the moment with recruitment and retention. So our investment in skills is helping that situation along for the West Midlands. We've seen enormous benefits. We've seen our residents attend skills training and be able to get into work, not only get into work but to progress within work. We work really closely with our providers to ensure that our learners get a positive destination. So when we talk positive destination, we would expect our adult learners to progress to the next level of education or progress in their careers. It could be a promotion, it could be a pay rise. So that's the benefit that we see from adult education, and starting at all different levels according to the individual needs. We measure the performance of our providers against set targets. So, for example, the destinations I talked about, positive destinations, will measure how our providers are performing against that. We also measure against the sector training plans that I've spoken about, the engineering manufacturing one. That's just been launched. We've also got the health and social care one, and I measure that twice a year to check how we're performing across the region against the targets that we've set internally. Because the funds are devolved to us as a region, we've got a little bit more flexibility on how we spend it. So we encourage our providers to be more innovative and meet the needs of the skills region. So sometimes that doesn't fit within the normal parameters, but we've got that flexibility to spend the funds where it's most needed and in the areas and sectors that it's most needed as well.
So the Automotive Council is a body that brings together senior government representation with the heads of the UK automotive industry and another number of other sector bodies which are important. Within the Automotive Council there are a number of working groups, one of which is the Skills Working Group. Skills Working Group consists of 25 or 30 odd people who meet every 4 to 6 weeks with a small core group. The great thing about this group is that everybody comes voluntarily to it, and the members of the group bring a great deal of passion and expertise. They bring great networks and a lot of enthusiasm for the task. Traditionally, we've needed to work on apprenticeship programs, but over the last few years, apprenticeship programs have really improved, and now we think they're absolutely fit for purpose for the industry. Our focus now is on the existing workforce. So if we really want to change the competencies of the people that work in our industry, recognising that we have very low churn, we have to train the people within it. And that means people throughout their careers, people who've only just started in the industry and people like me who've been in it for decades. It's really important that we're able to work through everybody in our industry. Also people who are perhaps out of work at the moment but could come back to the industry. So the goals of the group are to support the missions of the Automotive Council overall. And the main missions of the Automotive Council are transition to zero, so that's really the electrification agenda. It's about connected and autonomous mobility, and it's about the shift to digitalisation to make us more competitive as an industry. And in doing those things, we need to take the entire workforce with us so that our industry can continue to win business, produce cars, and be a strong and thriving part of the UK economy as it transitions to future technologies and to a net zero economy. We've been working particularly with the High Value Manufacturing Catapult, who developed a process called skills foresighting. And through 2021 and 2022, we ran a number of skills foresighting activities, particularly in the areas of electrification and digitalisation. And early in 2022, we worked with the Gatsby Foundation and one or two other bodies to run a programme called the Emerging Skills Programme. And that programme in total produced around 700 training days. It was all modular content. And what we're really trying to do there is deliver training in ways which are sympathetic to the needs of the existing workforce. So relatively short modular content, things that people who work on shifts can be released from easily, and to try and do that in a quick and agile way. So we ran that through the first part of 2022, and we're still working on more and more modules, and in total now we have around 55 modules in the electrification and industrial digital technologies area. Well, we want to build on the success of the Emerging Skills Programme and really start to target this at key regional areas of the UK auto industry. So there are 3 pilots that we're trying to set up. Our focus there is very much to engage businesses throughout the supply chain and work really with business leaders and make sure that everybody working in our industry has the opportunity to transition their skills and play a part in a newer automotive industry which can contribute in a net zero economy and make our contribution towards levelling up across the region. From the Emerging Skills Programme itself, we delivered around 700 days of training to a few hundred different individuals. We've now created 55 different modules of learning content in the electrification and digitalisation space. And I think the other thing that's really important is we've done a great deal to reach into government, and over the last few years we've been really fortunate in having great solid government representation. I think certainly my ambition is that the group is absolutely seen as the group with which the government can do business and the natural place that the government comes to talk about the skills agenda in advanced manufacturing and engineering. And so that combination of delivery of training and creating the network, which means that we can go forward in a sustained way with the government, those are probably the recent achievements that we'd be most proud of.
The Academy was specifically set up initially to train operatives in the practical skills required to build the homes on the line. It's then evolved into encompassing the whole business, so we now look after apprentices, postgraduate. We work right across all levels of the business, from the construction side of the business right through to design, manufacturing, engineering. So we encompass the full suite of training for everybody involved. So we accept anybody from any level of skill. We provide the full training that's required, so they can come from any industry, from working in shops to working in construction, and they'll come to the Academy and we will develop their skills so they're specifically as we require them, so they're able to do what they need on the line. In terms of what we're able to do on site, we have a raft of trainers, most of them from a further education background, so they understand the principles of how we actually train practical skills with new people who have never had this kind of experience before. We're able to deliver every single trade that's required, from joinery, plumbing, electrical, the full raft that we require, but they do need to be tweaked slightly because of obviously what we do is a modular housing rather than a traditional build. We are now an accredited centre with EAL, so we can actually deliver our own qualifications. Not only that, we have full direct claim status as well. So we actually are able to not only train people in new skills, but also link that with a qualification. So essentially it's an apprenticeship that the business fund for everybody. So not only do they improve on the skills that they require, but they are also developing a qualification that can then be used in industry in later life. We've got a very good team of trainers who are very used to dealing with various different levels of ability. So we can really break down trades into a really simplistic form so people can really understand it, become confident, become safe in what they do. And then we can also, obviously we've got the experience for more experienced people within the business. So if we come in with a previous joinery qualification, we can also help mould them so they understand the principles of what we do in a manufacturing business rather than a construction business. If we start right at the very basics, we deliver an EAL Level 1 award in construction, which all our operatives go through in conjunction with their practical training as well. On top of that, we then have a raft of apprenticeships which go right through the business, from construction, design, engineering, manufacturing engineering, facilities that we also look after. And we also have postgraduate positions as well, where people have come to the business and we support and develop their lifelong learning skills. So the training blueprint is what we put together. So it's basically the employee's journey. So when they first start with the business, they have a really designated path of how they can progress within the business, and also how they can progress personally and with their own growth. So it sets out all the steps that they're required to do in order to move on in the business, but also to develop the skills that we need. So it's been specifically designed so that it mirror images what we're doing as a manufacturing principles. So the whole premise of what we're trying to do, LNG Modular Homes, is deliver a really high quality home to our customers. For us to be able to do that, we need to make sure that the training that we deliver is to have really high quality as well. For us to win this award, it would be absolutely fantastic. You know, it's something that would mean a lot to the team as well as myself, and also to be accredited from an external agency of the work that we're actually doing here and the skills that we're investing in people would just be a great thing for us and also the wider business as well.